On this episode of Heart of the Matter, we are talking about how we can better communicate with someone who has an avoidant attachment style. In the last episode, we talked about how we can healthily communicate with someone who's got an anxious attachment style. So in case you've missed that, I would suggest you go back and listen to it. Before we continue into this podcast, I want to remind you, please hit the subscribe button. Follow it, share this post. Doing all of these things helps the algorithm to pick up this podcast and push it off to people who are probably going to need this information. I am your host, Annalisa Bahadur, and I have to say, I have absolutely been enjoying producing this podcast for you, and hearing your response and how it's helping your relationship has been incredibly encouraging. So I want to say thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for the encouragement and for sharing it with your friends. Now let's get to it. Now, building a healthy relationship is essential for any growth, and this is for you individually and as a couple. But when it comes to being in a relationship with someone who's got an avoidant attachment style, well, there might be a little more challenging than we expect it to be, or we think relationships should be. And here I want to share 5 ways of showing up for someone who's got an avoidant attachment style, and how you can build a strong, healthy, happy, fun relationship with someone who's got an avoidant attachment style. I've reminded in the past episodes that it is so important for this particular series on attachment styles that we have a pen and paper, because it can get a little heavy and you're probably going to want to go back and look at the notes that you've taken, just kind of to refresh your memory on what the attachment styles are, help to better understand yourself, and hopefully do a little bit of rewiring to your brain on how you think and how you approach relationships and people of different attachment styles in general. So let's get to it. It's incredibly important to be understanding. We have to understand an avoidant attachment style. Persons struggle with emotional intimacy. You see, they're generally afraid of getting too close to someone. So it is very important to be empathetic towards them by acknowledging and accepting their fears. The second thing you want to do is to set clear boundaries. When it comes to relationships with someone who's got an avoidant attachment style, boundaries are absolutely important. But you also want to be mindful of their space and give them room without pushing too hard. You want to be upfront about what you're comfortable with and what you're not so comfortable with, and try to gain a clear understanding of what they're comfortable with. The third thing you want to do is validate their feelings. Because avoidant attached individuals find it difficult to open up emotionally, it is very important to validate their feelings when they actually do express them, because remember, they don't find it that easy to express their feelings. You don't want to minimize their thoughts or their feelings, or just chalk it up to being unreasonable or dramatic. The fourth thing is we want to be patient. To make the relationship work, patience is very important. Allow your avoidant attached partner to take the time they need to adjust, to talk, and more importantly, to open up. In time, they're going to come around, they're going to trust you, and they're going to draw closer, but it's going to take a while. And so patience is incredibly important for you and for them. The fifth thing is that you want to communicate clearly. You've got to be concise and absolutely honest. Listen carefully to what your partner says. Acknowledge how they express their feelings and avoid arguments at absolutely all costs. There is a way of having a discussion or a disagreement without it escalating into an argument. You see, the smoothness of your relationship will, in the long run, depend on what is said, how it is said, and when it is said. I know that when you're dating someone with an avoidant attachment style, it is not the easiest relationship, but it's also important to note that one of the most important things to lasting relationships, regardless of attachment style, is empathy, understanding, and patience. When it comes to having a relationship with someone who's got an avoidant attachment style, empathy, understanding, and patience are even more important. Over time, their fear of intimacy will go away, and they're going to start trusting you. They're going to learn how to communicate more openly, and the relationship will get stronger. So don't lose hope. But most importantly, don't stop being their friend. I hope this podcast was helpful. And if you found it beneficial, I'm going to ask you again to share it with your friends. Leave your thoughts in the review section, and hopefully it pushes the algorithm into pushing it out there so others will find it. As always, I'm your host, Annalisa Bahadur.